Welcome back to Second Opinions. This is Vision with Spirilli. We're going to get right into it today. I hope we're going to have a good podcast as we always do. Spirilli, do you want to start us off with the poll of the day?
Yes, today's poll of the day will be, what would you rather do? Would you rather be playing games, listening to music, outdoors, in a movie theater? You let us know. There will be a link in the description to Twitter, and answer that. Let us know. And on last podcast, we asked you guys for your poll. We did get at least one response, and it was 100% Type A.
Wow, that's awesome. Type A. I was not expecting to get more Type A's than Type C's.
I know, it's crazy.
That's pretty nuts.
Especially with our one vote.
Hey, we'll get there. It's all right.
Of course.
So today, as our topic of the day, it's kind of controversial. I mean, just like everything is on this show, but I just have, I don't know, just a lot of different views on it, and I just really want to know what the audience thinks of it, because it's gonna affect the whole United States as a whole, I think.
Yeah, it could.
Just because
could easily affect
Go ahead.
everyone's future.
Absolutely. I feel like if this works really well for them, it could be a follow suit, and you never know what's going to come of it. I think it'll work better in different areas than other ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so the topic of the day is the city council in Minneapolis actually put in a vote to dismantle, not defund, but dismantle the police force there. And it came with a 12-0 vote. That means nobody had anything against it, which is nuts to me.
Crazy.
Yeah.
12-0.
I would have thought
crazy.
Yeah. I think it has to be a unanimous vote just to get through, but just like that quick of being a unanimous vote is nuts.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously just them voting in it, it's the city council, so them voting it in isn't like a done deal. It's still like the first step in the process. So it still faces different obstacles and stuff to make it to the ballot in November. But so basically what it is that they're going to redo the whole police system, and they really don't even have any idea of what it's going to look like. They're just like, yeah, we're going to vote this in, but we have a year to figure it out. So that's pretty much what it was. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a really weird situation. What are they calling them again?
They're calling them it's the Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention, otherwise known as the Peace Police. So
is it really getting rid of the police if you're calling the new thing Peace Police? Because isn't that what police already were? They were there to make peace.
Yeah, I don't know. They're adding some words in front of it just so it's not just like the police. You know, it's like what I read. I also have it on MSN.com was what I'm getting my information from. So when somebody calls 911, there will be a response that's appropriate, is what Frey says, their mayor. And it'll always be appropriate response, including the option for a response by employees authorized to use force. But the vast majority of calls that police officers currently take will be answered by employees with different expertise.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how exactly they're going to do it. They have no idea exactly how they're going to do it.
That's when nothing's finalized yet. That's just a really weird situation going on.
I mean, ultimately it's going to come down to the city voters that are going to vote it in. So like I said, it's just the first step getting through there. So there's going to be total different other councils doing it, or different voters, different voting ballots. But it's going to be ultimately in November when it's going to be decided. And if they can't push it to November, then they're going to have to wait till next year in November to do it. But either way, if it gets passed, or if it even gets voted on this November, they're going to have a year to implement it. But if it doesn't get voted on till next November, 2021, it's going to have no matter when it gets voted on, you're gonna have a year to implement it. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like,
It really is crazy.
another.
It's just such a weird thing going on. Like never would I have thought that this would be happening to a police force, because like ever since I was a kid, like they were police are there to protect us, like that's their job. Police are in every county, every state,
Absolutely.
like that's just how it's been. That's how the world has always worked. And now all of a sudden people are talking about like defunding police, dismantling police, like
Just because one guy messed it up.
exactly, like
I mean, not all police are bad. I mean, yes, there's some, and that's a corrupt system. But like, I guess, I mean, people are always like, if you want to like diffuse the problem, you have to like dismantle the whole thing to get all the bad nooks out of it, and just rebuild. But I feel like having a structure in place like that, like what they're talking about, is like, it's dangerous to say the least.
very.
I mean, my thinking is like all of the criminals in the United States are all moving to Minneapolis right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like people are like,
like,
no police in Minneapolis, bet. Like that's where
Right.
all our new mass murders are gonna go. They're gonna be like, well, I can get away with it now.
right. I mean, there's still going to be police there for another year at least, and they're not going to implement it. So I mean, there's going to be more on it as it comes out because it's going to be a huge thing. There's not going to be nobody not talking about this. But like I said in the beginning, if it works for one place, somebody else is going to try it, and it's just going to follow suit because everybody's going to be like, oh, well, it worked for them, it could work for me.
Yeah.
But so I have another thing on here. This is MSN.com again. The chairman of the Charter Commission, Barry Clegg, what he says, he goes, as I understand it, they're saying that we are going to have this new department. We don't know what is going on or what it's going to look like yet. We won't implement this for a year. We'll figure it out. He also said, for myself anyway, I would prefer that we figured it out first and then voted on it, which would,
Makes sense.
I would think, be like, why would you vote on something if you don't have a backup
Exactly.
plan? It's like, oh shit, I didn't think it was going to get this far. What do we do now?
That's why I think it's crazy. Like it's so early to be voting for that stuff.
Yeah. Well, they're not voting. I mean, they are voting for it, but it's just to get it on a ballot. It's nothing like
That's true. It's
super
not like
serious,
the
right?
confirmation. Like this is happening. Police are getting fired now. Like
Yeah. So like the proposed amendment has to be on a November ballot, so it has to be finalized by August 21st.
I see. That's
So-
crazy, man. It's a crazy world we're living in today. Let me tell you, it's
So here's the process, the way it goes. It goes, it'll be passed by the full council, go through a veto period, and then if vetoed, have time to spare for a possible mayoral veto override. So it's like just another veto, like saying, "Are you sure you want to veto this?" And then if it makes it onto the ballot, the measure would go to voters in the city. So like ultimately, the people of the city will have their vote cast, and it'll be totally up to them. So if it does happen, they can't complain about it because they're the ones that,
Yeah.
the majority of, they're the ones that voted it in. Because I'm sure somebody over there has to not agree with this, and this is why I'm bringing it up on our podcast, is because I definitely want people's opinions on this.
which once
Like-
again in the comments, please let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you
Absolutely.
guys and know what you think. Like we want your opinion on it. So
And if you made it this far in the podcast, thank you so much for listening and continuing to support us.
Of
Give us a
course.
like, whatever you need to, subscribe, whatever you got to do to make it noticed.
oh yeah. And once again,
so-
subscribing is always free. If you change your mind later, you can always unsubscribe. But subscribing is completely free. It doesn't require anything but a button, and it just really helps us out if you guys could subscribe. So if you do like what you see, if you like the content, you could subscribe. It'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I don't know. Would I vote on it? I would definitely vote no. I mean, I feel like there's definitely some other ways to go about, but I don't know the other ways to go about it, but I don't think this is it.
I'd definitely vote no too. Maybe if I had especially like more time to kind of see the whole situation, like
Yeah, if they had a
Folding
better
out and
plan or
stuff,
something in
and-
place.
yeah, Because right now it's just so early. It's too early. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised there's even an article about it for as early of a stage it is.
I know, it's ridiculous.
But that happened.
Getting pushed so fast.
Right, yeah, super fast. I mean, Mr. Floyd passed away May 25th. And already, man, like a month later, almost exactly a month later, this has been proposed.
So this podcast is being filmed on June 26th right now. So pretty much 1 month later, this whole thing is being proposed. Yeah. It's already a fucking 12-0 vote. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, if you ever call 911 in Minneapolis, the Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention will be at your door with the expertise that you need.
That expertise. Imagine fucking calling like 911 and like someone's breaking into your house and you're like, please, I need someone to come. Like someone's breaking into my house. I need your help. And then someone goes, oh, sorry. My expertise isn't in that. Let me get you transferred over to somebody with the right expertise.
Please
in break-ins.
hold.
Like, he's gotta go. He's coming in right. I need to send someone. It's like, yes, I understand, man, but we gotta get the right person of expertise for your safety, you know? Because I don't know how to handle this situation, but one of my colleagues
please
does.
Hold.
So yeah, please hold.
And puts on elevator music. And she's like, ah!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
That's why you have the fucking police who are, you know, skilled and advanced in, like, all in every situation.
They did say that they were going to have a group specifically skilled to use force if they need to. So I guess in that situation, they would send them. But.
Which is going to be hilarious the moment that they have to use deadly force against someone. And, I mean, that's not going to be hilarious. But when people are all of a sudden like, oh, like these peace police used deadly force and now the peace police needs to be dismantled because some guy was shot on the sidewalk and
he had to make a drastic decision in 5 seconds in order to do what he needed to do. But it's just strange. So that's that for that segment. Segment 2 today is going to be our top 5 list of the best, worst animated movies.
Oh, yes.
Not animated in the sense of the animation done on it, but in the sense of, like, an animated movie that had a bad story, bad characters, bad dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
What you didn't like about it, whatever. And so I feel like it's going to be very controversial because a lot of people watch different movies than what I watch, I'm sure. And that could be actually a poll question on our next one if we might, or even after this podcast we could put one up, who knows. But my number 5 being the best of the worst, is Hoodwinked, made in 2005. I'm sure you know what Hoodwinked is, and if you don't, it's a fairy tale story, a retelling of the fairy tale story of Red Riding Hood and the wolf, and it goes into like a whole thing where the police came to the house and like it's crazy.
It's like a candy thief. No, it's the recipe bandit or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, and the lumberjack guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it at my number 5. I mean, I honestly like the story on it, like the take of it. It's something different. And if you like different stuff, you could probably go watch it. But I just put it as number 5 for me, just because I purely did not like the animation done on it. It was just too, like, bulgy.
The animation was shit, dude. If you see, like at some points where, like, people are talking, like, the words they're saying doesn't line up with what they're actually saying, and, like, things are just super weird. This is a good video that Bionic Pig, I don't know if you guys know who that YouTuber made, but he made a video on the Hoodwinked, and he did a really good job covering just how shit that movie was.
I don't have to look that one up.
Yeah,
and it was so bad they even made a second one, Hoodwinked 2.
It was shit, needless to say. And if you watch the first one and just have Shrek in your mind, then you'll be able to
Oh yeah.
piece it together. And then they got the whole like book opening, storytelling, fairy tale reading thing, like in the beginning too, with
Well,
like the whole like entrance type of thing. Like I don't know, I can just picture like Shrek kicking open his door with Smash Mouth playing in the background. Like it's
well, I mean, if you think about it, Hoodwink didn't come too far after Shrek. I mean, it was 2005, so it wasn't that far after the very first one. So, I don't know.
so. What you got for
It
number
probably
4?
could. My number 4 is probably going to surprise some people, but is Cars 2, the 2011. I don't like it because I didn't think there was any reason that there needed to be that sequel to Cars, especially with Mater being the main character. I honestly thought it was a money grab.
I can agree with that on the money grab. I personally like Cars 2. It's been a while since I watched it. It was younger when I watched it, probably when Cars 2 first released. But I do agree with the whole money grab thing. I think that the story was okay, but it was also like unnecessary. Like
Yeah.
they literally could have just made that into a short film. Really, they could have easily
Honestly.
shortened that up into like a 30-minute just little Cars 2 short film type
Well,
of thing. But
they do have all those Mater shorts, so there's like tons of them on Netflix and stuff.
yeah,
Like Mater and the Ghost Light, Mater and Monster Trucks, and whatever, you know.
hey,
My
no
son
one
watches
can
them.
dare hate on Mater and the Ghost Light.
Yeah. No, I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying they should have made it into something like that instead of a
Yeah.
whole entire movie.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Lightning McQueen was in there, and I'm not like saying, well, Lightning McQueen's the only main character in that series, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, Lightning McQueen, in his career at that point in the movie, was taking a huge leap going over into a foreign country racing, right? And bringing Mater into it and being a secret agent and all that junk, it was just like, it was just a money grab.
Yeah, it really was just a money grab. It's really ridiculous.
But
I
It
mean,
was a
I
decent
do
story.
think, like I said, I think that the story was all right, but it also could have been a short film.
yeah,
Like they didn't
wanna-
need as much as they had really in Cars 2.
absolutely. Yeah, like whenever I think about the Cars series, I always think of Cars 1 and Cars 3. Cars 3 was like really good, I think, in my mind.
I like Cars
But-
3. Cars 3 is pretty good.
Yeah, Cars 3 is really good. But I guess, like, if you had Cars 1 and then Cars 3, you would feel like you're missing something because he was the rookie year, blah, 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 in Cars 1, and then it just jumps straight to his retirement in Cars 3. You would have to have a filler in there. But I think Cars 2 just missed that mark.
I think you're right. I do have to agree with you on it. Cars 2 definitely can fit in that list.
Yeah, and so moving on to number 3. Number 3 is Boss Baby. I know some people like it. I don't. I just watching it for the first time. I just thought the characters were not likable. You know, it was
Not enough character
rude.
development.
Yeah, it was crude. It was rude. I thought it was kind of dumb. It was just nothing likable about it. I mean, everybody seemed like they were just so dumb. And then the baby was like the smartest dude ever. Which, I mean, obviously it's a movie and it's about a boss baby and he's like coming into this household and he's becoming the boss and everything and he's doing his thing for his business and whatever. But like, I don't know. I just didn't like the story, I guess, perhaps. And it just didn't hit right with me.
I see. It's been too long since I've given it a watch, which I've only given it one watch, which is probably for a good reason. But I can't necessarily say too much on it. But one thing I do remember is that there was very little character development in it. Like there was the boss baby, and still even he had hardly any development. Like there was like a little at the end if I remember, but it was. Like no one else really had any development. And then there was like the brother, he had some development, but he's pretty much the same person throughout the whole movie. Like nobody else, like other characters might as well not even existed. But
Yeah, that's true. And then they go and make a TV series about it, and I was like, oh my goodness.
I saw that. Isn't there
I
a
didn't-
Boss Baby too?
I don't have no idea. After that first movie, I just stopped following it because I saw the TV series and I was like, I am not watching that.
Yikes.
But moving on to number 2 on the list, of my list anyway, is Aladdin, Return of Jafar. The only reasons on this list, and it's so high, is because it did not have it had the potential as the first one, but it did not hit that mark. Like, the first one was spectacular. It was a hit. Everybody loved it. I'm sure everybody watched it as a child. And I was watching a little bit of it, and I was like, man, it just has really bad dialogue, so there's not like that problem, like, right off the bat. Like the character development's already there. Like, what else can you do to make a movie about it with those same characters?
Makes sense.
And so, and the songs, like, I don't mind musicals, but the songs in that movie was terrible. Especially the parrot, his voice, and just that song. It was just like, I had to shut it off at that point.
Yikes. I have not seen it, and so I can't give too much words on it. Actually, I really can't give any words on it because I haven't seen it, but...
Oh, that was the 1994 Return of Jafar Aladdin.
Oh.
Just for clarification.
I've only seen the, regular, Aladdin, 2002 something. Unless I'm wrong. I don't know. I've only seen one Aladdin, and I'm pretty sure it was just
pretty sure the first
Aladdin.
one was in 92. Like, the original Aladdin was in 92, and then Aladdin Return of Jafar was in 94.
Maybe it was the 92 that I watched then.
Probably.
I just remember watching it as a
it
kid.
Was, I just looked it up. It was 92. So, are you guys ready for this? Number 1. Dun da da da. Drum roll, please. That was wonderful. Great.
You're welcome.
Put that in a soundboard. So number 1, maybe you haven't heard of it, maybe you have. It's called Food Fight. It was in 2012, 2012. It had Wayne Brady, the guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway? He was in it. I don't know, I'm drawing a blank, so I'm going to move on. So anyway, Food Fight, 2012. It's about this agent that's a dog. He solves mysteries and everything, and he's about to take on this new case, which literally looks like the army from World War II, the Nazis. It literally has the same, army march, all that junk. And the absolutely the worst animation I have ever seen in a movie. And this was in 2012. It was complete garbage. It looks like something that my 2-year-old could create on my computer. Dude, it was so bad. Charlie Sheen, that's who I was trying to think of. Charlie Sheen's the main character. Wayne Brady.
That's why it sucked.
And it was just... Hey, he has some stuff, but man, I'm going to send you the link over so that you can put this into the podcast and show everybody.
Okay.
So put a link at the end of the video. But it was probably the worst thing I've ever seen. Get this, though. The reason I put it number 1 was that it had a $65 million budget.
Oh.
Info at imbd.com.
IMDb?
And the total gross earned... IMBD.
BD.
B is in Bob.
Oh,
Boy.
that's interesting. I've heard of IMDb before, but I haven't heard of IMBD.
Yeah. Huh. Yep. But, so... The earnings, the gross earnings, guess how much they made in the box office?
Wait. So you said what was their budget?
So it was a $65 million budget.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that they made 12 million. I hope they made at least 12 million.
They didn't even make 1 million.
Oh my god.
$75,000.
Yikes.
Total bust. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks that it's the worst animated movie probably ever. I mean, so this list is comprised of movies that is made in the U.S., no indies, Because there's a lot of like independent people out there that are probably worse, not worse than Food Fight, but worse than the ones that I'm naming. But nothing. I mean, I'm talking about just
Like
basically
actual
mainstream.
like, corporations
Yeah.
making
Right.
multi-million-dollar budget movies.
Yeah. Talking about stuff that's supposed to be good and it just didn't hit the mark or missed it or nobody liked it or whatever.
All right. I have one which I think is going to be a real shocker. This doesn't necessarily go into like the top 5 list, but I do think that this one sucked. And this is going to be super controversial. All right, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
The Cat in the Hat.
Okay.
Dr.
I want to see your points on this.
The Cat in the Hat. I think it was great as a child, okay? It was so funny as a child, but if you went and watched it back as an adult, there's just so many bad lines. You realize that like things are there just to kind of get like a little ha laugh out of children, you know, and it's
the laugh track going.
Yeah, and just like the things that it's really just a weird version of Austin Powers, and he's in a cat suit, and
yeah,
it's awful. It's like watching the movie back again. It's so hard to watch. Like it was so easy to watch as a kid. It was hilarious, and then they had like the fish and everything, and it was all good. But Fish is a pointless character, man. I mean,
my only problem I have with your selection is that it's not animated.
Oh, that is true. It's not animated. You're right. No, I was just thinking like Disney and children's movie.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a Disney movie.
Hey, there's CGI in it, if that counts.
But yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I accept it because there is CGI and it's technically because some kind of animation.
There's
at least
animation
it's computer work.
on.
Yeah, the fish wasn't talking and definitely wasn't out of his bowl. It wasn't not a real fish. So
therefore,
it
was animated.
So, my question to you is, where do you think that fits on the list? Or would you take out one of them?
I'd say that's like a number 3 or 2 type of spot in a top 5.
Okay, I can agree with that. I might put it 3 or 4, probably.
But yeah, if you give Dr. Seuss another watch, it will not be what you remember. And there's so many so many adult jokes in it. It's awful. Like there's one part where like right when the cat gets there, he's like homina, 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 and he like runs over to the picture of the mom, and he's like, "Who's this?" And like that's my mom. And then his hat grows and it's like boing, like as if he's like popping a boner, you know? I'm like, what in the fuck?
I know. Some of those movies, man, they put some stuff in there that only adults will get. Some of them are pretty funny. But
Jesus.
Do you have an actual animated movie off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, no. I can't believe I didn't think animated like that.
That's alright. So that's the end of that segment. If you guys agree, disagree, or want to add any movies to our list, go ahead and comment it down below.
Let us know, please.
Next, we're moving on to our mystery topics. As always, me and Spirilli always have a mystery topic at the end of our podcast. So, do you want to start it off?
Yeah, I'd love to start it off. So this one's going to be a shorter topic, and this one's regarding off of super recent. There's a YouTuber. Her name is Jenna Marbles, and...
Oh, I've heard about this.
Oh, you have heard about this?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Go on, though.
So, about, literally 10 years ago, she was making, some, kind of racist comments, so she was doing, a blackface type of character, and she was making some ching chong sounding some Chinese jokes and stuff, which back in the days with YouTube and stuff was okay. At the
people
time,
weren't so sensitive.
People didn't think a damn thing of it. That's why 10 years later people are like, man, what in the hell? But still it hurt people's feelings, and she apologized for it and everything. But she's completely quitting YouTube over this. She's done because of
Dunzo.
Yeah, because of this whole cancel culture going on. There's so many groups of people will find something that somebody did from a year or two ago, and they're like, "Oh, that was racist," even though she said it 5
Not
years
even
ago.
a year or two ago.
Or yeah,
Yeah,
like
it was like
5 years, 6 years. For Jenna Marbles is literally a decade ago. And they're like, "Oh, cancel her. She's a racist." Like, clearly she's matured and has understand and saw how the world has changed within 10 years and stuff. Like, there's no reason to cancel her. And now she's like completely quitting YouTube over this. It's ridiculous. Like, she was just like crying. Like, YouTube has like been her everything. She's one of like the longest standing creators on YouTube. Like,
I wonder if YouTube's gonna like. I don't think they're gonna stand up for her, but what if they did? What if they're like, no, don't leave, blah blah blah. We like your videos. I don't know, or something.
I mean,
You know,
I don't think YouTube will necessarily say anything about it themselves, but it is super sucky that this situation is going on with Jen. She doesn't deserve it. She's always been a super funny person. I've seen a ton of people like backing her up on Twitter and stuff, saying like about how she just doesn't deserve what's going on, which
But it's
she doesn't.
5 years ago, man. I mean, just let it go.
Exactly.
What is the time frame of when people get over that? Obviously, it's forever because people are still talking about being a slave and stuff, and it's been generations, man.
It really has been generations.
But
There's a lot of things that have happened like this recently to where like people are getting canceled over the fact of something that they did like a decade ago, and I just think it's not worth it. It's stupid. Like they're just ruining her career over something she did 10 years ago,
Right.
and she's getting really hurt by it, and she just doesn't deserve it. Like she's always been such like a funny person, and so she hasn't necessarily been like the type of YouTuber I watch. Like I haven't been into her type of content,
Right.
but like I do know her and know about her because she's been on the platform for over 10 years. And she just
Right.
doesn't deserve it. Like, she deserves so much better. She's always, like, every time I've seen her, she's just been a nice person. She's been really comedic, just trying to make people laugh. And
Right. I mean, I guess it'd be a little different if she like actually meant as not a joke about all the racial stuff, but like, I mean, it was just something just to get you to laugh or like
yeah,
just to like kick back or
they
whatever.
were
It
all
was a
in,
joke.
like, comedy skits. All the stuff that they were, like,
Yeah.
pulling it from was, like, literally her just, like, doing, like, little skits and stuff. It wasn't her, like, being like,
Right.
"Oh, man, this Asian guy came up to him, so I told him, ching chong, ching," you know, like, she was just, like, like, making jokes. She's doing, like, a sketch about it and stuff and trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It really is. I wonder how much she's made off of YouTube though.
Oh, she's had to have made millions. Like, absolute millions. Yeah. She's one of those people.
Short topic on that cancel culture. I read an article saying that they're going to cancel Paw Patrol because it portrays good officers.
What?
Yeah.
Because
different topic for different podcast, but
because it portrays good officers. Oh, sorry
good,
for
good
making
officers.
cops look good.
Yeah, right. That was my thing. Like, I feel like it should like. It's supposed to be good because you want your kids to watch a role model and be like what you're supposed to be like.
I want my children to grow up watching something like Paw Patrol, so that way when they see police on the street, they're like, "Oh, it's these guys. They like Paw Patrol.
Yeah,
you know, like,
it's
they're
Ryder.
really cool. Like I don't want them to be like, gotta hide, gotta run from the police.
Yeah, even though I didn't do anything.
Like, oh man, the world that we live in.
Dude, I know. My son watches Paw Patrol all the time, dude. And I'm glad I have it on DVDs, because if it does get canceled, that's gonna suck. Anyway, on to my mystery topic. I don't know if you heard about this or not, but as something happened with NASCAR, and it's about a noose.
Oh, I saw
that
this. Yes.
Yeah, it was the noose, or it was a rope tied as a noose in one of the garages of the only black driver of NASCAR.
Yes.
And he went to the owner, Steve Phelps, and was like, "Yo, I don't like this. I feel like somebody's doing a racial thing against me, a racist act." The driver is Bubba, by the way, just so you guys know, Bubba Wallace. Yep. But so he went to Steve Phelps, right, and was like, "Hey, I don't like this. I feel like I'm being attacked," or yada yada. And so Steve Phelps calls the FBI, and the FBI goes in and does an actual investigation on it. Like, that's nuts. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I heard they had 12 FBI agents working that case.
Yeah, it was crazy. So they did their investigation, right? And so the FBI reports came back, and it goes. The article is on yardbarker.com. The FBI report concludes, and photographic evidence confirms that the garage door pull rope, fashioned like a noose, had been positioned there since as early as last fall. So, well before the 43 team's arrival to the track, and by the way, they get different garage assignments every track they go to, so it wasn't like everybody knew he had that garage and that's what they did.
Yeah,
and
it's
pulled
like,
the
oh,
news.
this is Bubba Wallace's garage. We tied
He
this
just-
one into a noose.
Right, he just unfortunately got the garage that had the door strap tied as a noose. So it wasn't anything racial, it was just coincidental. And the FBI confirmed it, which I would assume that they have like video cameras at the track running all the time because it's always there. It's not just because NASCAR's there, they're going to record.
Yeah.
I'm sure they went back into the videos and watched it since last year or last fall and watched somebody tie it up or whatever and shut the door.
And even after
I'm pretty
the FBI has, like, did their investigation, like, they said that it was, like, okay and everything. And Bubba Wallace still believes that it's not okay. Like, he still thinks that he's being attacked.
No, right here it says, Wallace wrote, he says, first off, I want to say how relieved I am that the investigation revealed that this wasn't what we feared it was. It's been an emotional few days, and I want to thank my team, NASCAR, and the FBI for acting swiftly and treating this as a real threat.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm glad they corrected me on that.
You're welcome. And NASCAR President Steve Phelps, he said that calling the FBI was justified. And to be clear, quotes, we would do this again, end quote.
That's crazy. And I saw it did. It really did look like a noose. And
No, there's a picture right here. I'll send. You can put it in the link too if you want me to send it to you.
Yeah. I want to try to put as much stuff in the description with links as I can. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I'll get that pulled up and stuff. I'll show the link. And first of all, it really does look like a noose. Second of all, they showed other people's garages that were kind of similar to it. It did look more like a loop than a noose on other people's garages. Mm-hmm. But, like, you could still see the similarity, and they're showing, like, footage from, like, way earlier, like, 2008 footage and stuff of, like, NASCAR garages having, like, the same sort of rope. So.
I know there's been definitely some memes about it and stuff, and people making fun and joking and stuff, but I'm actually really surprised and how good that this article came out, and how Bubba Wallace actually commented on it as well and thanked him. So of all the racial tension going on, like, this kind of act and the way they all handled it was great. I feel like anybody could do this, and it could happen everywhere, if people just sat down and, like, instead of burning buildings and going crazy, we could just be like, hey, this is not how it all seems, you know what I mean?
Yes, I would definitely consider this as a win. People aren't torching buildings for Bubba Wallace, but instead Bubba Wallace was like, hey, I'm relieved. Things are fine. That's really good to hear.
And speaking of a win, I think this podcast was a win for us. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, whatever you need to do. We'll be back at it again next time. This is Second Opinions. Really? You want to close this out?
Yeah, my name's Perilli. That was Vision. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully our audio is a lot better. First episode wasn't too hot. Episode 2 is pretty good, and I feel really confident about this episode 3. I feel like every podcast we're doing better and better. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode of Second Opinion, and I will see you all later in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.